If you will turn in your literature books to page 34, we'll be reading 7th grade by Gary Soto today and recording our answers on a Google document. I'm currently in my drive and I'm going to click on New, choose Google Doc. The first thing you should always do when starting a new document is to title it. We need to title ours 7th grade, because that is the story, the title of the passage, and then your first name and your last name. On page 34, before you start the passage, they ask you to think about how do you make a good impression. All of you, before you started this school year, you were starting a new building, making new friends, and you probably wanted to make a good impression. So what were some of the things that you considered on how to make a good impression, things that maybe you tried? You need to make a list of 3 ways. Then on page 35, under Reading Strategy Connect, it asks you to make a table. To make a table, you'll click Insert, Table, and our table needs to be 2 by 6. If you'll go ahead and insert your table, and then we will add our headings. The first heading is what's happening in the story. So as you read, you'll record things that happen in the story that connect to your life. So it's connecting what you're reading to who you are and the things that you know. An easy one would be the title. The title is 7th grade, and all of you are in 7th grade, so that should be easy to make a connection. So as you read, you'll add 4 more connections directly to the story. These connections will help you remember what you read and help you learn about the story and the characters in the story as well as yourself. The last thing on page 35 was vocabulary and context. You have 6 vocabulary words that are throughout the passage that you'll be reading today. In vocabulary and context, they ask you to define what these terms might mean. Number 1, a student may quiver when tests are handed back. So your job is to define what you think quiver might mean. The definitions are also in the back of your textbook. Once you have those completed, you can start reading the story. Remember, as you read, to go back and fill in that table on what's happening in the story, and then try and connect it to your life. On page 43, after you've finished reading the story, there are 2 different sets of questions that you'll answer. The first set is comprehension. Are you understanding what you're reading? And there are 3 comprehension questions. And then you have text analysis. Text analysis are deeper thinking questions. They're also worth more credit because you're spending more time explaining your reasoning and trying to understand the text at a deeper level. Question 4 asks you to make that connection, so it will have you refer back to the table. Question 5 is going to have you compare and contrast characters in the story. Question 6 is going to have you identify the plot stages. We've been practicing this week on what the exposition is, the characters and the setting, the events, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. So this is a good time to practice that. And number 7, analyze plot development. So it's going to have you look at how the characters' decisions affect the plot of the story. When you have completed this assignment, please submit on Canvas. Thank you.